Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly. It's Alyssa and Katie, and we are two top producing realtors in the Baton Rouge market.
We work for two different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths. Okay, hi friends. It's episode 47.
We are here.
We're here.
To talk about priorities and distractions.
Okay, I love it. What are you going to call that? I'll think about it later.
Yeah, I think I was like, sometimes I like to pick an episode that's directly related to something that I could be struggling with.
Well, look, when you suggested, I said, this is a great idea. And then I immediately made a note. What made Alyssa want to talk about it?
I'll tell you why.
Okay, let's hear it.
Right now, I'm very buyer heavy.
Yes, me too.
And I haven't been buyer heavy in a few months.
Yeah.
I'm a little rusty.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of sporadic text messages,
oh God,
to which I politely respond, hey, can you please send me those houses to my email so when I get back to my computer, I can make notes.
Mm-hmm.
And they do.
Yeah.
And then they don't text me anymore because I asked.
Yeah.
But I just feel like with the amount of new clients that I have at one time, and most of them are first timers.
Yep.
I'm having to do a lot of like training the client, guiding them to the right place. And that's not hard when you're only doing it with one person, but when you're doing it with 4 or 5 newbies at one time,
it's tough.
It's very tough. And like, I'll be at a final walkthrough or at a listing interview and my phone lights up. And the first thing my brain does is like, look at it like, oh my gosh, I need to answer this. Somebody needs something.
Right.
So I have been, I feel, managing it well and trying to just stay calm and prioritize. During quarantine, I moved my email icon on my phone to the last page.
Oh, so you don't know.
It's not on my home screen anymore.
Okay.
And so if I want to check my email, I have to scroll 3 times to click on it. I can't just automatically click on it. And that has been life-changing.
Yeah. I don't get the email alerts. Do you?
I don't get any alerts.
Yeah.
No. But if I see the number, I start getting anxious.
See, mine doesn't populate the number. So my alerts are off and the email icon to me is just an email icon. It doesn't get a little red circle with the number, even though I'm getting email. So it's sort of the same thing as what you're doing. You're just putting it out of your vision.
Yeah. And like the first few days that I did this, whenever I would check my email and it would say 47 new emails, I was instantly like, this was a bad idea. But then I cleaned it out in like 15, 20 minutes.
And it was fine.
So it wasn't bad at all. And then I felt like I had control of my day.
Yeah.
So I had written this down in my notes, but there was a study done from the University of California, Irvine.
Okay.
And this lady named Gloria Mark studied distractions.
Okay.
And she said on average, people were clicking on their email 74 times a day.
That's me. Me.
That's the average. The highest person in the study clicked on it 486 times.
In one day?
In one day.
Now look, I think you and I and probably a lot of realtors get 480 emails in a day, but I don't need to click on it that many times.
Yeah. But I know that there have been times where I have fallen guilty to like refresh.
Oh,
like
I'm just waiting.
Yes. And it just comes from being in that mindset, like you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You don't know. There's so much to do.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't even know what you should be doing.
Yeah. Well, and I think that this is a great time to tell people to go back to the email episode. Mm-hmm. It truly is a mindset that you're when you're sitting there waiting, it's very reactionary. It's very much like your email rules you and tells you what to do in your day. I'll tell you what I started doing this year. I no longer check. Y'all, I'm not going to lie. I used to check my email when I woke up in bed, like before I got out of bed. I don't do it anymore. Instead, Instead, I have a notebook by my bedside. And when I wake up, I write down my goals for the year. Every single day, I repeat them. I write them down.
That's awesome.
So I find it's good. It keeps you from getting distracted from what you want to do in your day. But I still, like, my note was, this is a work in progress for me. I am not good at keeping distractions at bay. And especially because I think that social media is a part of my business that I think is good. That's like the ultimate distraction.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get on there, it's a rabbit hole. You're just down, lost somewhere else, not even doing anything work related. So I just, there are a lot of distractions, and I don't know how to keep them at bay.
Well, I think it's important to know, like, we're talking about this today because it's something that we are constantly battling. I struggle with it.
Yeah.
You struggle with it.
Yeah.
We have some suggestions, and there are days where I handle this really, really well.
Yeah.
And then there are days where I'm just having an off day. And, I'm a big fan of boundaries.
Yes.
But I will say this, I had this in my notes, is that if you aren't being responsible with your day, and if you are not doing what you're supposed to do in your work life, you've kind of lost the luxury of having boundaries temporarily.
Yeah.
And you may have to have a couple of late nights into the evening to catch up, to get to a place where you can get back under control. Everybody has been taken care of. I mean, if you are taking off all day to go on your kid's field trip or to go on a girls' trip or whatever it may be, you're probably going to have a late night that night.
Yeah.
And that's okay, as long as it's not every single night.
Right.
You have to, the only way to really efficiently get rid of the distractions is to stay on top of your work and and it's not that hard if you get a good routine going.
Right. Well, I think that one of the notes I made is you have to know what's urgent in your work life and what is non-urgent. So I think you need to almost write down, what are your tasks that you're repeating in your work? Like, you work with buyers, you work with sellers, write out the task. Which ones are urgent and which ones are non-urgent? If I'm in the middle of dealing with a closing that's happening in 1 or 2 days, and I need to order a termite certificate or a warranty or something that's got to be done before a deadline, and then a brand new buyer who wants to buy in a year and a half contacts me, I don't need to create their MLS search at that moment.
Oh.
But part of me wants to, because they are the squeaky wheel, and you have to ignore the squeaky wheels when you know what's more urgent.
But you know what's good about the squeaky wheel?
What?
Say it's Monday and they reach out to you and you're like having a crazy day and you need to set up this MLS search. You can say, that's so exciting. Can you please email me a list of things that are important to you? And I'm going to set up your search Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
They just need to know, this goes for anybody and everybody in any industry. This goes for me when I'm working with people. Yeah. I don't care when you're going to do it.
Yeah.
I just need to know
what the
so that I don't keep following up. And I'm not wondering, like, where did she go? What happened?
Forgot about me.
She forgot about me. They want to know, oh, Wednesday. Yeah, she said she's doing it Wednesday. They don't care at all.
No.
They just want to know. And so I think also, like, communicating with your clients and with other agents to say, hey, I just want to let you know. And then at that time, you need to immediately put it on your calendar for Wednesday or put it in your reminders, wherever you write things down, because if you tell someone you're going to do it that day, it better be done that day.
Right. That's the ultimate thing. You've got to give them the expectation and then make yourself, you need to have a system for your to-dos. Like, it cannot just be stickies all over your desk, or stickies all over folders. I think that when I have a deadline like that, or if I promised someone I was going to call them in 2 days this happened this week to me because it is crazy right now. I had a past client send me a text message that's at 8 p.m. That said, hey, I have a friend who I think is going to move to the area, and I'm trying to help her answer some questions about searching for houses during COVID. She has some health concerns. I just wanted to talk to you about that. Now, this text message came after she called me at 8 p.m. Now, she's in my personal sphere, so it's not as inappropriate, but still, it was a work-related call. So, and here I am with my kids trying to put them to bed and do all that stuff. So I responded to the text and I said, hey, with my kids right now, I have appointments in the morning. I can call you tomorrow afternoon. And then I got my phone out in my calendar and I put 2 p.m. call so that I remembered to call. And that is the system you have to use. You have the moment to do that when those things come in, as opposed to going to set up the MLS search in that moment. That's going to take 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Writing into your calendar, do this Wednesday morning, takes 2 minutes at the most.
I have a quote for this.
Oh, let's hear it.
You dictate your time or others will dictate it for you.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Either you're the boss of your business or say you're working with 5 buyers and 5 sellers. You have 10 bosses.
Yes.
That all expect you to be doing things if you aren't the boss, if you aren't the one saying, I will do this at this time. And it's okay if it's the next day or 2 days away, as long as it's appropriate for their need.
Right.
And you're communicating with them. That's all they want. Because then they're at peace. They're not wondering if you forgot at all.
I agree. I mean, I think that's true. I also think that you have to alter your schedule as it fills up and gets busier. If you were planning to go to an agent tour or an office meeting or something that you don't have to go to, remove those things from your schedule if all of a sudden your, buyers who are currently looking need you. Like you have to be able to be flexible in your schedule and not just, oh, I want to go to lunch with my friend. I said I was going. Well, maybe it doesn't work out anymore. Reschedule.
It certainly comes back to like boundaries and discipline.
Discipline is what kept coming to me when I was making
discipline
notes.
Is so hard sometimes.
Super hard because you're like, oh, I've been working so hard. When is it going to stop? And I think this is probably even harder for people who thought they were going to do this part-time and are successful, and then they're not part-time anymore. Even though they think they're part-time, it takes a lot of time. So that's why I think going way back to the beginning, you have to understand this is a full-time career. This is not... You're not going to effectively complete the things you need to complete in part-time hours unless you're super disciplined, like next level.
Right.
Because I need probably 40 or 50 hours a week to do all of this.
Yeah, well, it also depends, like, what are your income goals? How many clients do you need to be working with?
Then you have to turn them away, Alyssa. You can't.
Right.
That's the problem. Who turns them away? Nobody, because we always function in a scarcity mindset. So if you have an income goal that says you only need 2 closings a month, and all of a sudden you have 6 buyers, it's time to send some of those people away.
Yeah.
But but who does that? Do you do it? I don't do it.
No, I don't send them away, but I do try to see if another time works better. And I'll tell you about my closing that I just had that you saw on Instagram. But
let's hear it.
So I have a $500,000 listing, and I got a sign call. And this lady she answered all the right questions. She was pre-approved. She emailed me the letter while we were on the phone. Wow. It was legit. She told me she drove by it the day before and loves the yard and all of that. I was like, and she said, I really want to go today at 2:00. Guess who could not go today at 2:00? I literally was slammed with appointments, and I was like, I was like, well, how does tomorrow look for you? Well, I really want my daughter to come with me and blah, blah. Anyways, we could not find a later date. And I knew this was a priority.
Yeah.
She sounded excited. She sounded eager. She was ready. I'm not going to make her wait 3 days until I can get there. So I called an agent in our office. I said, listen, I got this sign call. I've asked all the right questions. It sounds legit. If you can show her the house, she can be your client, and I just want a referral fee.
Yeah.
She sold it.
I love that.
And it was just one of those situations where I could have been greedy.
Yeah.
And I could have tried to schedule her and make her wait for 3 days.
Well, right. And your seller could have lost out because she could have found another house in 2 days when she was waiting for the 3rd day.
Now, if she would have said, oh, yeah, Wednesday's fine, then I would have made her wait. But she certainly hesitated. She sounded like, oh, I don't know, like stressed out about getting her daughter there. She really wants her daughter to see it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I sacrificed a lot of commission by not making her wait and getting both sides of it. But it was just that's what needed to happen in that moment.
Right. I think that's a great example. We just have to remind ourselves.
But, we did close, and I got the referral check, and I was like, this is lovely. It's not the full amount, but it's something.
But at the same time, all you really had to do for that was the phone call.
That's all I had to do.
That's all you had to do. I mean, that's a lot of money for a phone call, I love that. That's amazing. I had something that I thought you would find funny. It's a good quote. You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. Winston Churchill.
Oh, I like that one.
Right? Like
you just got to keep on going.
You can't let things throw you off your path. If you have a schedule and you know what you need to do that day, don't let something else jump in line. That's the other thing. Oh, I want to tell this story. So I have been working with this like coaching group, and it's for entrepreneurs. It's not just realtors. And she was doing like a time management audit. So she told me to go on Google and find like a 15-minute calendar. And for 3 days, I had a sheet of paper that had 15-minute increments through the whole day. And I wrote what I did for each 15 minutes so that I could audit how I was, because people don't know how long things take. They don't know how long they're spending on stuff. And so I audited what I was doing, travel time, like everything. It was very eye-opening, and anyone can go do that and even just do it for a day and see what are you spending every 15 minutes. I had to write down what I had done.
That's interesting.
That also kind of holds you accountable. You're going to be a little less off the rails whenever you're writing it down, just like dieting. If you're writing down what you're eating, you're going to be more mindful. But I still think it's helpful to be like, okay, every 15 minutes, my alarm would go off and I'd write down what had happened.
Well, that's interesting, because in that study from the University of California, they were saying that after a distraction, so say you're cleaning out your email, you're answering stuff, you're on a roll, and then your phone rings, or you get a text message, or your phone lights up and you click on your Instagram. When you come back to your computer, they say it takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds on average for your brain to get back into the mode that you were in.
Yeah.
And so if you're if you're working for 5 minutes and check Instagram again, or address your text messages right now, you're never going to be in like a good solid, you're going to spend more time in recovery mode than you are in the actual, it's kind of like REM sleep.
Yep.
Like REM sleep is where you're the most productive and you get the most sleep and your brain is like refreshing and rejuvenating. And if you come out of REM sleep, it takes so long to get back to it.
Yeah.
And this study is showing that you think a 30-second break to answer a text or to do something isn't a big deal, but it really becomes a 24-minute
it's
distraction.
The reset part that takes so much time.
Yes. It's not the actual distraction that is quite the problem, as much as it is getting back into it.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that don't get social media alerts on their phone in order to be productive.
So I have in some of my tips to turn off notifications.
Yeah, I mean,
because all they do is make your phone light up, and it makes your brain go, something needs to be looked at. Let me go look at this right now. Yeah. And I mean, the only notifications I have are text messages. Everything else in my daughter's daycare.
Yeah. Well,
those are my two things that I get notifications on. Everything else is just silent, and I go check those things in my break or spare time.
Right. When you have time.
But like if I'm typing something long or I'm working on something specific, my phone is never on loud. It's always on silent.
Right.
I just always have it on silent.
Yeah.
But I will put it upside down next to me until I finish this.
Yeah.
Because I can't look at it.
If it lights up, there's trouble. So I turn it upside down. Same. I also have a great quote for that. Starve your distractions, feed your focus. So just turn the phone upside down, turn off your alerts, like close out your email if you're typing something up on a document where you don't need to. I don't need to have my email. I have all the tabs open, people. I'm not saying that I'm good at this. They're all open. Jay's like, why do you need so many tabs open on your browser? I'm like, because I'm in the middle of stuff. So like, why am I in the middle of so many things? Everyone has that struggle, I think.
Another thing I've been using a good bit is away messages for my voicemail. So it's really easy to change your voicemail.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this podcast has just made me used to recording myself, because I used to hate recording my voicemail. Okay. Now I'm like, because I used to be like, it has to be perfect. I have to say like, hi, or not like, hey. Anyways. So now it's just like easy.
Were you like re-recording it over and over again?
Oh yeah. Right. Because I'm like, this voicemail is forever. It's what people are going to hear.
Right. It's a permanent recording.
Anyway. Yeah. So, but now it's like, if you know your day is slammed, hey guys, today is Thursday. May 28th, I'm going to be in appointments in and out today, but I'm going to check my phone at 4 p.m. and address all calls that came in. If you would also like a quicker response, send me an email to ajenkins at whatever. And then during the day when your phone rings, you're not stressed that you're not answering it because you have an away message that explains, today I'm returning calls at this time. Like I used to try to think of the perfect voicemail that would say like, every day I return calls at 3 o'clock. Every day is different in our world.
Right.
You can't do it.
Very unrealistic, extremely unrealistic. I know, because every day is different. I'll tell you, I like that. And I want to point out specifically that you didn't tell them in your voicemail if you need an urgent request, text. You said, send it to my email. You're still being held like at bay. If you're not in your email, that's okay. They're not going to come through.
Well, so I also am a fan of the auto text messages that you can set up where I'll type it out for the day. And when a phone call comes in, if you see it, you can just press the text message button and it sends them a text that says, today I have several appointments. I'm going to be on the road until 3. Please email me regarding what your call is. Yeah. And then it has my email address so they can just click on it and do it. It's not really saying like respond to this text. Yeah. Another thing I do is if I do get text messages during the day, I will respond and say, hey, sure, I'll check on that at 3 o'clock. Sometimes I have to screenshot that text and email it to myself or set a reminder. Yeah. Usually I screenshot it and email it to myself.
I do too. Same. Because then
they just want to know. They just want to hear from you and know when you're going to respond, and then they're not wondering, because the moment that they wonder, they just like call the listing agent. So
I like that.
Hello, friends. We are so excited that so many of you are using the template course, and the reviews are just pouring in, letting us know that it has helped your business as much as it has helped our business.
Yes, listen to this review. Thank you so much for providing this wealth of information, knowledge, in template form. So far, I've used a handful and received positive feedback like, this is so professional, or I really appreciate how organized you are. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah,
your clients are actually going to say that.
Yes.
All right, here's another one. Thank you so much for this. I can't tell you how many times I've started this and how many notebooks of samples and notes I had. I have ADHD and it is super hard to stay focused on getting it done. Having it all in one place is going to make it so nice.
That is what we're here for.
I know. Just look, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just use these.
Yeah, nice and simple, easy, ready to go, ready for you to put your own logo on, make it sound like you. So head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/course and check it out.
That's right.
And you're going to enjoy them. You're going to love them.
You're going to
change your life.
Literally fired my assistant. They are the best.
Okay, enjoy the template.
Yes, enjoy. Okay, I also have notes to make things more automated, which I think falls in line with that. So you're doing an auto reply or doing your voicemail, but if you automate things like your search to your buyers or an email campaign or a seller report or any system that you have access to an automation, use it. Then those people are hearing from you even in the busy time. They're still getting an email. Whether or not it looks automated doesn't even bother me. It's still you showing up in their life saying, this is what's going on. And I think that that's super important to keep everyone in communication. If they need something, they'll respond.
Right. Yeah. The buyer search is just being sent to them automatically. And I think we've already talked about it in our buyer management episode, but like my buyer searches take me 30 to 45 minutes to set up.
Yeah.
I go through, eliminate subdivisions that don't fit there. I mean, it's not sending them junk.
Right.
And it may only send them 4 or 5 houses a week, maybe 2 or 3, depending on their criteria, but it goes to them automatically. Yeah. And I tell them that, I let them know you may get some things that don't work, but they met the criteria, which is why it emailed you. So just disregard the ones you don't like.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything automated like that is just so helpful.
Super helpful. Super helpful.
Do you have anything that you love? The biggest thing that
automation?
So like, I'm new to the Instagram scheduled posts.
Oh yeah, you're loving that.
I'm like hooked on it because if I'm just because I think the problem is it's hard for me to stop a day every day or every 2 days and write one really good post and then get back into work. Like if I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone and I want to like knock it out.
Well, I think
so it's easier
great
for me to do 5 posts and like look through my recent pictures and be like, oh, I haven't posted that. And then it's like fun. And then for the next 3 days, it's like scheduled and
this is batch working. I mean, any productivity coach or podcast, they will all tell you to batch work. I mean, if you've got to do, like, let's say, for instance, I keep all of my transactions in a transaction management software. Why can't I say that? Anyway, I put them all in Wise Agent. I don't stop and do that. Like I got 2 or 3 under contract last week. I'll sit down all at once and put all 3 in. So just like knock it out and then move on to something else. So kind of pull those tasks together, especially admin tasks like that or posting or something, collect them up once a week, have a time when you catch up on that stuff, or when you check in with all your sellers, or when you check in on all your, pending transactions, or when you check in on all your buyers. If you do it all together, you get in the zone and then it's more effective. You're doing it more quickly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to have a list of what's urgent though. I mean, I said this earlier, and like know what your priorities are. Another agent in my office used to always say to me, don't trip over a dime to pick up $1, or don't trip over $1 to pick up a dime. That's what it is.
I like that.
Yeah. Don't trip over $1 to pick up a dime. Like, what are your money making activities? I mean, I hate to say it like that, but you have to be mindful of what's actually going to bring you business, what's actually going to make you money. Like, don't get distracted by the shiny things. I don't need to be on a Zillow phone call with them selling me for 45 minutes if I'm not going to buy Zillow leads.
Right.
Or I don't have to be nice to the Google Ads people who call me on the phone. I can just say, no, thank you, and hang up.
Right.
No.
So there was a quote that I wrote down about like what to do when something pops in.
Okay, what is
it? And you have to pause. Like so many of us, it sounds like so easy, but so many of us think that we have to just react. Like, oh, let me do this. But it says a pause produces patience and prioritizes purpose.
Oh, I like that.
So pausing allows you to produce patience. Okay. Don't let this thing fluster you. Prioritize. What are they asking me? Okay. When can I do this? And then it'll just become second nature. So a pause produces patience and prioritizes purpose.
Oh my word, the alliteration is super on point.
So good. We love alliteration here at Hustle Humbly.
Sure do. HH. I love that though. A pause. So you take a pause. Walk me through it again. Pause.
Yes. So a pause produces patience.
Okay.
So it basically like forces patience.
Yeah.
Because it makes you take a breath and think about it for like 5 seconds.
Yep.
A pause produces patience and prioritizes purpose.
Yep. Okay. I like it.
So once you actually breathe before you just respond, now you can place it where it needs to go appropriately instead of trying to like pull up MLS on your phone and check the flood zone of this house you were just texted or whatever.
Yeah.
It actually says, I'll check that as soon as I get back to my computer this afternoon.
Yep. I love it. That's a good one.
The last thing I had written down was that distractions not only hurt your productivity, but they have negative emotional side effects.
Oh, let's hear that.
So every time you let a distraction come in, and then like at the end of the day, you just don't feel like you've caught up. You feel like you can't enjoy watching a show. You can't just enjoy dinner because you're still crazy.
You feel like a failure.
And that's because you let the distractions run your day. And when you do that, you feel like you failed. You feel like a failure.
Yeah.
You feel like you failed yourself. You're like, I'm a bad agent. This person hasn't heard from me. I forgot about this person. It's been 2 days since I did this.
Yeah.
And it does start some self-loathing. It starts like you getting down on yourself. You feel like a fraud. You're not so good. But really, it's just that the boundaries weren't put in place properly.
Yeah.
So there are negative emotional side effects from not having boundaries in place, from allowing the distractions to run your life. And it's okay to tell people to wait.
Right. I think that's huge. So huge. It is okay. It's okay to tell them to wait. I have a book I brought that I wanted to show you and tell the people about. I read this book. It's called The One Thing. The One Thing.
Yes.
It's got a domino on the front.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
I like that.
It is really super good. So if you guys need something to read to help you like with time and priorities, it really goes through like how to get your big things done. Like what's your big why? How do you get that done? What's your one thing is the whole deal. So like what's the one thing that you can do that will make everything else easier or unnecessary is sort of like the theme that goes across the book. And it's just really, it'll open your eyes to thinking about if you're in your office and you're doing admin work, then close the door, like turn off your phone, put it in airplane mode, like do things that will set you up for success when you're trying to do a certain task or series of tasks. Or it was just, I thought it was a really good read and I enjoyed it and I read it a couple of years ago and it will just sort of open your eyes to how you're spending your time. I think I didn't read it, but Tim Ferriss has that 4-hour work week that I know people really love. And I had a quote from Tim Ferriss that said, focus on being productive instead of busy. Yeah,
that's good.
I know.
You know what I like about airplane mode?
Yeah.
Is I feel like when the phone is ringing and the phone is ringing and the phone is ringing, sometimes people hang up like right before it gets to your voicemail or they hear, hey, it's up, and they hang up. But with airplane mode, it doesn't ring. It just says, today is Thursday, May 28th, and I have several appointments today, but I'm going to get back to all my voicemails at 3 p.m. today.
Yeah.
Like it allows it to just, like if you know you can't check it.
Right.
But the question I've been asking myself lately is, can I even handle this right now?
Yeah.
No, I can't do anything about it right now.
Right.
Nothing. So I don't even need it on. I'm not even looking at it. I'm not even checking it.
Okay.
And then it just works.
I agree. I want to say something because we've mentioned this on other episodes. We're very big proponents of answering your phone. Huge. Like it's a big deal, right? Actually answering the phone. I don't think either of us are saying that this would be something you would have to do every day or it might be like I'm in a busy time, which could be a week span where a couple of times I need to go into airplane mode. It really is not a daily type of occurrence. And I think that I don't want to give people permission to start ignoring their phone calls. Now, you can be mindful of your email and when you check it all the time. Like I think that's perfectly fine. But there is some importance into answering your phone. So be mindful of like, what is your level of busyness? Like, are you really having a lot of urgent matters you have to address? Or are you just like, oh, I don't really want to answer the phone and Hustle Humbly told me I didn't have to.
We're not telling you that.
I'm not telling you don't have to. I'm just telling you that if you're having trouble with your priorities and overcoming distractions and you've got a lot going on, then yes, make some decisions about when airplane mode is appropriate.
Yeah, if you know for the next 4 hours you're in showings and inspections, maybe it's a good time for an away message that says why you're not answering your phone and when they're going to hear back from you.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I had another one quote that said, when you work, work. When you play, play. Don't mix the two. And that was Jim Rohn.
Oh,
I don't know who that is. But this is where I struggle the most. Like when it just oozes into family time or I have real trouble turning it off and the distractions can come in both ways, especially like my kids are home for summer right now. They break into my work day just like my work breaks into their family time. So
sure.
I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. Sorry, friends.
Well, I think that's the thing is that we are here to give tips. We are here to tell you sometimes distractions ruin your day anyway.
Yeah.
You need to give yourself grace.
Yes.
Remind yourself no one's going to die in our industry.
Right.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You can handle it later.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
You can handle it later. oh my gosh, you could handle it later. Yeah, I agree. I think that's good. I have one last quote. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
My main focus is to remain focused.
I love that.
That's not amazing.
That's
it takes
hilarious.
work. Like it just takes work. It's not going to come naturally. It's not gonna come naturally. Oh, and I do have a parting tip. I don't remember what I heard, but I basically read a study or an article that said productivity studies have found that there's an optimal amount of time that you can be productive. And it is 50 minutes, 50 minutes on and 17 minutes break. So I have done that. Like if I'm having an office day, I would set my timer for 50 minutes. And when it went off, I got up from my desk for 17 minutes. If I wanted to check social media then or walk around or go outside or stretch, then I would do it that way. And I do think that's good. Break it up. Don't feel like you're tied, chained to your desk or whatever it is you're doing. Like break it up.
That's like when I have my work at home days and I'm catching up on laundry. Whenever the dryer goes off, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go fold clothes, maybe clean the kitchen, maybe check social media, and then you come back.
Yep. Yeah. And that also avoids you doing the 24-minute re-up every time you get distracted. You know, you're just leaving and then you come back and start again.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Anything else?
Look, I have gone through all my notes.
You scratched them straight off. YouTube gets to see all the good stuff.
I might post a picture in our Instagram of this one.
I think that's a great idea. I have them all. I had, I think I gave you all the quotes except for one that wasn't really a quote, but it was more like one of those fancy things you see on Instagram. It was, stay focused, stay humble, always hustle.
Yeah, I like it.
I was like, how appropriate is that?
That is appropriate.
Super appropriate. I think that priorities are always changing and it's always a work in progress. So just keep at it, friends. Find some things that work for you and your schedule and for heaven's sakes, audit your schedule. See what you're actually doing with your time.
It all goes back to like accountability and just being honest with yourself. And it's okay to be like, hey, I have not been doing a good job in this area.
Yeah.
And tell your spouse, pick an accountability partner even like in your office. If it's someone you live with, say, hey, look, I really want to try my best to shut it off by this time or not check it when I'm in bed or, you know, just, and maybe, I mean, there are times where I've had to tell my husband, like, I'm sorry that I've been so slammed, you know, and like, I've even told him before, hey, I just want to let you know this week is really busy, but I think after this week, we're going to be back to normal. And he's like, okay. You know, he just needs to know.
He needs to know, just like your clients.
And he needs to know when I need more help than usual. Like I may need him to pick up Haven more from school. Yeah. I may need more help with the laundry or whatever it is. But like, it's okay to just let the people that are really close in your life know, your friends, your parents, like, hey, I just want to let you know we can't get lunch this week. Like whatever it is, they just need to know, but we can reschedule for next week.
Yeah. That's just a hard pill to swallow. And we're going to have a whole nother episode on that.
Yeah.
Because as the
sacrifice.
As a wife and a mom, that asking for the help is like a whole thing.
Yeah. Well, we do need an episode on that.
Yeah. We'll come back to that, friends. Don't worry.
Okay.
to coming soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do our toast?
Yeah. So I thought that this would be an excellent episode to toast Anna Cornick.
Yep.
Who has been a guest on our podcast. And she has her own podcast, which is called It's About Time.
Yes. So if you want some actual, real, helpful advice on how to do this, she's got every single episode you will need to figure out time management.
Yeah. So I thought, you know, her stuff is so good. And even just her Instagram where she posts tips and stuff.
Yes.
So let's toast to Anna.
Cheers to Anna. We love you.
Cheers, Anna.
We hope we can aspire to be better time managers.
Mm-hmm. We're working on it.
That's right. It's a work in progress.
Okay, bye friends.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast. Let us know who we should toast to for the next episode. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hustle Humbly Podcast. If you have an episode, topic, or question, please email us at hustlehumblypodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. See you next week. Bye.
This is the good life.